guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are testing out a new foundation and concealer that a brand has launched. And this is a brand that we are familiar with. I was shook when I found out that they came out with products. It is none other but ZARA. ZARA, our favorite fashion brand, ZARA, has launched a foundation and a concealer. I could not believe. I was like, no way, ZARA came out with that. Like, ZARA is really stepping up their game. They're like, you know what? Let's put fashion to the side and let's do beauty right now. So I'm gonna try this out and we're gonna see how good this is. Did they really do a good job, or should they not have stepped into the beauty world? We're gonna put it to the test and we're gonna see how good these products really are. So we're testing out the foundation and the concealer. So if you guys are interested, please keep on watching. Before we get into the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, turn your post notifications on, add me on Instagram, add me on TikTok, and let's get into the video. Packaging, this is what it looks like. It's all white. I like the packaging, super cute. It's all white and then it says ZARA, but it's like engraved in there. So cute, very simple, very chic. Love that. It is a little dirty though. That's the only thing, the foundation. I don't know if you guys can see it. The box, there's like foundation stains all over it. So not sure who was packaging the order, but looks a little dirty. Other than that, the package is cute. So I got the Limitless Soft Matte Foundation. You guys know I am a matte girl. I love a matte finish. Full coverage. If it's not full coverage, I don't want it. I need it to be full coverage. That's my thing. So I think this is full coverage, but we're going to put it to the test and see. The concealer is a luminous creamy concealer. We love a luminous creamy concealer because you want the under eyes to be as hydrated as possible. So these sound good, but are they really good? We're gonna see. So one thing I will say, guys, is I am so impressed that ZARA came out with 51 shades for foundation. 51. As soon as I saw that, I was like, wow, how does ZARA come out with 51? But there are other beauty brands out here struggling to come out with shades. Like, they are not at 51. They're struggling. So I don't know, but some beauty brands got to step it up and take notes from ZARA, because if ZARA can do it, I don't know how other brands can't do it. That was my first initial thought. So 51 shades basically is what they came out with, which is great. The only thing I will say is the website though, if you guys have been on ZARA's website, you guys know, their website is so confusing. Their catalog, like the way that they like model clothes and the foundations, is like, I can't even tell. There's no swatch on there. So I basically had to guess a shade. So I picked it up in the shade W914. W stands for warm. 914. We're gonna see if that works. So this is what it looks like. Super cute bottle. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Rare Beauty. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I feel like Rare Beauty kind of does the exact same style of packaging. You know what I mean? Their foundation and concealer. So that's what it looks like. But the packaging is super cute. It's on like an angle. Cute. The concealer I picked up in the shade W910, so a little bit lighter. This looks very light though. So this is what it looks like. Very small. This looks like a nail polish. It's so small. How big is it? 6 milliliters. That sounds very tiny. Is that how much concealer usually is? So the concealer is a little bit smaller in size than the regular one. My Tarte Shape Tape is 10 milliliters. This one's 6 milliliters, so it's a little bit smaller, but this is what it looks like. Price points, very, very affordable. The foundation is $25.90 Canadian. I want to restate it's Canadian. I don't want people coming for me in the comments, because sometimes people come for me in the comments and they're like, that's not the price, like that's not the price, and they're telling me a US price, but I always tell you guys it's Canadian. So $25.90 Canadian, and concealer is $15.90 Canadian. So very, very affordable. So if I like these products, I'm about to be saving a lot of money because, okay, the concealer looks like it's a good shade, a little light, but it's a really nice like yellow undertone, which you know is my thing. Very creamy. It's not thick, but it also doesn't feel like it's full coverage. It's not giving me a full coverage vibe, but we will see. Then the foundation. Oh my god, I'm nervous for this one. Oh, is it locked? Yeah. Okay, it's looking a little light. Actually, I don't know. I feel like I got the right shade. It feels very thick. but not thick in a bad way, like thick in a full coverage way. So I'm excited for this one. This seems like very full coverage. It's like covering my veins really well. Like, look at that. And the color's not too bad. I feel like this might work. It might be a little too yellow, but we'll see. All right, so all I have on is a moisturizer and an eye cream. Whenever I'm testing out new products, I don't like to use a primer because primer does change the way foundation looks. It will either like smooth it out, it'll hold it longer, primer does something. So just to see how the foundation wears alone, I don't like to use a primer for this. So we're not gonna use one, but we're gonna go right in with the foundation. This is what the swatch looks like on my hand now. So you can kind of see it has oxidized just a little bit, not too much, but that's what it looks like. Now I'm feeling like it might be a little too dark for me. It's pulling a little orange now, but we're gonna see. So let's try this out. I am going to apply it with a beauty blender. So as you can see on my face, I do have a little bit of pigmentation right here. Not much, but I do like to cover that. So let's do one little drop and start with my finger first. It smells very strong, like it smells like alcohol. Like very, very strong. Hold on one second. Okay, so there is alcohol in this foundation, which I find that some foundations do have alcohol, like it's not uncommon. But it's like the third ingredient. So that's why it does smell like alcohol. I don't really like that. I have my Charlotte Tilbury foundation here too, and there's alcohol in this foundation as well, but it's on like the bottom of the list, whereas the ZARA one, it's the third on the list, so I don't know how I feel about that. So you can definitely smell that alcohol scent. The coverage though, honey, the coverage is there. You saw all I did was one little pump and the coverage is amazing. Wow. Wow. Coverage is definitely there. So let's do the other side now. The color is a little light, but like I said, it does kind of oxidize into a deeper shade. So I'm thinking in a few moments or in a little bit, it'll get a little bit deeper. Okay, wow. The coverage is really, really giving. So as you can see, I've literally just been doing like one pump like that and it's been quite a lot. So now let's do it here. I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit more on my cheeks, but overall you can see the coverage is definitely full, but I'm just gonna add just a little bit more because that's just what I like to do on my cheeks. I like it to be very, very full coverage. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more now. So my first thoughts are coverage, full coverage. It's not buildable. It's literally like instant full coverage. As soon as you put it on, it's full coverage. It is a matte finish and it's not like super drying. It doesn't feel cakey. It doesn't feel thick. It actually feels very lightweight. The consistency is more on like the thicker side. It's not like a watery consistency. Like, you know, like the Too Faced Born This Way, that consistency is a little bit more watery. This one is a little bit thicker, but it's not thick like the Huda Beauty foundation thick. You know what I mean? It's kind of like in the middle. So I like the consistency. I don't like the smell. Like I said, it does smell very strong like alcohol, so I don't like the scent. However, the coverage is amazing. The price is great. So we're gonna see how it wears and how it looks when we're done. So now let's go on with the concealer. This is the Luminous Creamy Concealer in W910. I usually always use a color corrector, but I want to see how this works alone, so we're not going to use a color corrector this time, which I feel like is so odd for me because I always use one. So let's go ahead and add this on. The color is definitely too light. I feel like I needed something a little bit deeper. I don't really like the applicator. It's very I don't know how to describe it. I feel like because it's so tiny and it feels like a little flimsy, so I don't really like this applicator. Not a fan. So that's what it looks like. The coverage is actually pretty full coverage, I would say, or at least medium coverage. I went ahead and added a little bit of color corrector under this eye just so we can see the difference because color corrector is a must for me. So now let's go ahead and add the concealer on top and see, because as you can see through here, The coverage is there somewhat, but it's still poking through a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit more on this side, just to see if we can get a little bit more coverage. And I'm gonna let it sit a little bit. I always like my concealers to sit just a little bit to kind of marinate, if you will. So I'm gonna let it sit and then I'm gonna blend out. Okay, so this is what it looks like blended out. This is the one with the orange color corrector underneath, and this is the one with no color corrector. You can see the coverage is definitely there. I would say it's more of like a medium to full coverage. So pretty good, and it doesn't feel drying or anything like that. It actually feels pretty creamy. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eyes. I'm gonna use, what is this called? I'm gonna use the Ilia blurring setting powder. This is usually what I always use for my under eyes. And I always like to set my under eyes with something, so I have to do this. Initial thoughts are, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The coverage is pretty good. I feel like it almost reminds me of like a drugstore concealer mixed with like a high-end concealer kind of thing. I feel like, will it replace my Shape Tape and my Born This Way? No, but it is pretty good. I feel like it's better than your average drugstore concealer that I've experienced, so it's not bad, not bad. So far, I'm liking the foundation more than the concealer. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and set my face with just a setting powder. I'm using the ABH translucent powder. I'm gonna set down this foundation because I wanna see how it wears for a few hours. Okay, so this is the final look. I'm just gonna keep it simple with just bronzer on my face, just so that we can get the true vision of what this foundation looks like in a few hours. So I will be back. I'm gonna check in a few hours, and then we're gonna see how the foundation looks. Did it hold? Am I shiny? Because as you guys know, I am combination skin, so we're gonna see if it actually controlled the oil, and we're gonna see if the concealer actually creased and if it's worth your money. So I will be back in a little bit. All right, I am back. It has been a few hours, and this is what it looks like. So here's what the foundation looks like. Here's what the concealer looks like. So I'm ready to talk about it. So the foundation I will say is impressive. I'm very impressed. The coverage had me instantly. As soon as I applied it, I was already impressed with the coverage. I feel like Zara did that. Like the coverage, you nailed it. Great. Love it. The color is actually pretty good, especially for me picking online. Like I said, if you guys have been on Zara's website, it's confusing. Like, I don't know how I did it, but the shade, I'm actually pretty happy with the shade. What do you guys think? Comment down below. But the shade is great. I'm impressed with them coming out with 51 shades. Like, that is amazing. Definitely a soft matte finish. Definitely full coverage. I feel like my skin looks very, very smooth. It looks very airbrushed. And remember, I didn't even use a primer. So imagine pairing this with a primer. I feel like it would look even more smoother, more airbrush, more poreless. Like it would look amazing with a primer, but for testing purposes, I didn't use a primer, and you can already see like my skin looks so smooth. Like I love the way it looks. So the foundation is amazing. I actually really, really like it, especially for $25. Can't go wrong. The only thing I will say I don't like is that it has alcohol at the top of the list. I find that alcohol typically does dry out the skin. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but comment down below if you guys agree. I find that too much alcohol in products definitely dry out the skin. So I typically don't like that. One thing I noticed is it's not transfer proof, and it doesn't claim that it is, so it never said it was, but I'm just letting you know. It's not transfer proof because I had it on my hand and I can like wipe it off. It is coming off, and I accidentally forgot I had it on my hand, and I was laying on my bed. My bed is all white sheets, and I smudged my hand on the bed, and now there's foundation all over it. So it's not transfer proof. The concealer, honestly, I'm not that impressed by it. It's whatever. I feel like I could do without it. I found that it did crease over time. You can kind of see that it did crease. Typically when I wear my Shape Tape or my Born This Way, there is no creasing, so it's fine. But with this one, I kind of do feel like it did crease after a few hours. The coverage is pretty good. However, it's not my favorite. Again, I feel like it's very comparable to drugstore concealers, because the drugstore concealers I've tried, I've never really been too impressed with. So this one, I don't really feel like it's doing too much. I'm not too impressed with the concealer. That's the end of my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below what you want to see next. What products do you want me to review? Let me know your thoughts. Have you tried this? Have you tried the foundation? Have you tried the concealer? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Comment down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.